Once a lioness attacked a flock of sheep. The lioness was pregnant, and during the attack, she lost her cub and died. The young lion cub survived, however, and grew up in the flock of sheep. The sheep grazed in the meadows, and the young lion learned to follow their example. When they bleated, the young lion tried to imitate them. Over the course of time, he grew to be an adult lion. One day, another lion appeared. To his amazement, he caught sight of this lion in the flock that was behaving like a sheep. He chased it, and when he grabbed the sheep lion by the neck, it started bleating fearfully like a sheep. Unimpressed, he dragged the lion to the nearby lake. He showed him the reflection of two lions on the surface of the water and said, "Look, you are as much a lion as I am. Now, take this piece of meat." He tried to force the meat into his jaws, but the sheep lion refused. He bleated desperately, still claiming to be a sheep. But then he tasted the blood, and his sleeping instincts were awakened. He started to devour the meat. The old lion said, "Do you understand now that you and I are the same? Come with me into the woods." In this way, the teacher causes the student to recognize his or her true self.
Cedric Parkin was born in 1962. Several years of studying academic psychology did not provide him any real insight into the nature of the human being. More fruitful for him, however, was being with his Sufi teacher. Later, he started studying the teachings of the Enneagram in oral tradition. Due to a serious car accident in August 1990, he crossed the threshold of death at the age of 27 and awakened egoless into the reality of the non-dual absolute. His spiritual teacher, Gangaji, whom he met shortly thereafter, supported him in integrating his fundamental transformation, which completely exploded his day-to-day world of experience. She referred him to her Advaita teacher, H.W.L. Punja, a direct disciple of Ramana Maharshi, who gave him the spiritual name Om and inspired his teaching from his insight into the absolute reality of Advaita. Om C. Parkin's spiritual teaching, which he also calls inner science, is based on the Eastern Advaita tradition, the teaching of non-duality, with Ramana Maharshi as its most prominent figure in the West, as well as on the teachings of the Fourth Way, made known in the West by George I. Gurdjieff. On the other hand, it is based on Western experiential paths, for example, Christian mysticism. He also uses modern psychological and psychotherapeutic methods as teaching tools. The goal is self-knowledge through inner work, which ultimately leads to the realization of the true nature of the human being. In the innermost heart of the religions of the East, Advaita, Zen, and others, we find the ripest fruits of the philosophy of being, the mystery of the dissolution of the world. The spiritual culture of the West has brought forth the knowledge of the evolution of consciousness, the philosophy of becoming. The highest teaching is the teaching of unification, which unites the paths of love and truth and being with becoming. Thus, the highest realization unites that which has never been separate.
Welcome to Satsang. Please feel invited to ask a question anytime. If you ask a question, I will answer it for you. Who asks the question and who answers it? You believe I am a person living in this body and answering your question. If you identify with your body as I, you believe that I am a body too. This is the origin of separation. Separation brings about loss, which makes all humans feel cut off from their source. And it is the illusion which has to be dissolved. When you ask a question, the answer you receive is not given by a person, for this body here is only one of my persons. Person or persona means mask. What do you know about yourself? What do you know about me? As I am no individual, the answer is impersonal. I am yourself. Satsang is the invitation to be at home. You do not come from anywhere and you do not go anywhere. You are here. You are not born and you will not die. You are here. In this simplicity, what has to happen, happens, and what does not have to happen, does not happen. There is nothing to do, just total awareness, total vigilance in the face of temptation. The Gangaji once compared it to a cat sitting in front of a mouse hole. Whenever a mouse comes out of the hole, she is present. The mice are thoughts. As soon as the cat falls asleep, as eventually will happen, and gets lost in non-essentials, the thoughts come sneaking out and peace is gone. Satsang begins where concepts and ideologies end. Questions that arise from concepts can only ask what, or why, or how. Satsang asks the question, who?
You often tell us to let all the concepts and emotions that create suffering burn away in consciousness. But how do I start this fire?
When I say it is possible to let everything that appears in consciousness burn away without touching it, I'm not speaking of a technique that the mind can learn. The thinking mind, especially one on the spiritual path, most often employs this strategy. What do I do to destroy myself, to snuff out my existence? Let's see. First, I will meditate. Then I will learn many kinds of different techniques to reform and purify myself. Then I will cleanse the body and do workshops for clearing my feelings. And then I will be ready. Ramana Maharshi once told a joke that applies to this, a joke about a robber who disguises himself as a policeman and pursued himself. Everything I say could be misunderstood as a technique. No particular technique can cause tendencies of the mind to burn completely away in consciousness and not create karma. Burning happens on its own. True longing is the fire, and this fire burns away everything. It burns away your entire, never real, personal story. It burns away all of your feelings, concepts, and images. True longing is the impulse of the search for truth. If you do not interfere, there will be enough nourishment for the flame of longing to burn on its own. This flame is like a vortex that pulls you deeper and deeper. Your tendency is to hold on somewhere, to avoid this vortex and get sidetracked by thoughts, automatic patterns, habits, and emotions. For this reason, the movement into the depth of yourself gets postponed, and the burning of pure longing is interrupted again and again. The difficulty seems to be lighting the fire in the first place, to light this flame and no others.